You're broke as a habit, not a circumstance, not bad luck, not the economy. A literal neurological habit that your body has memorized. You wake up, check your bank account with the same dread, feel the same chest tightness, think the same thought, I'll never get ahead. Your body releases the same cortisol. You make the same financial decision you made yesterday. Budget for a day, break it by noon. Promise you'll start fresh Monday. Your brain just fired the exact same circuits it fired yesterday, and last month, and 3 years ago. You are not stuck because you lack discipline. You are stuck because your body has become the mind of broke. And until you understand the neuroscience of what that actually means, you will keep trying to think your way out of a pattern that lives below thought. Here's what's actually happening in your brain. Every time you repeat a thought, your neurons fire in a specific sequence. Neuroscientist Donald Hebb established this in 1949. Cells that fire together, wire together. When you think I can't afford this for the 10,000th time, you're not just having a thought. You're strengthening a neural pathway. You're literally making it easier for your brain to think that thought again. But here's where it gets worse. That thought triggers your hypothalamus to release a chemical cocktail, cortisol, adrenaline, whatever matches the emotion. You feel anxious or resigned or ashamed, and the moment you feel that feeling, your body sends a signal back to your brain. Yes, this is who we are. This is the correct response. Thought creates feeling. Feeling reinforces thought. Do this loop enough times, and your body begins to memorize the emotion as well as your conscious mind does. Dr. Joe Dispenza's research shows that by age 35, 95% of who you are is a set of memorized behaviors and emotional reactions running on autopilot. Your body is literally addicted to the neurochemistry of being broke. You don't have a money problem. You have an identity problem. Your sense of self is wired to the state of financial scarcity. And your brain will do anything, sabotage, procrastinate, justify, rationalize, to maintain that identity because it's neurologically efficient. It's what your brain knows. You are not choosing to stay broke. You are being broke on a subconscious level and your choices follow automatically. Let me show you what this looks like. You get a tax refund, $1,500. You know the smart move. You've read the articles, pay down the credit card, build the emergency fund, invest it. Instead, you spend $600 on something you've been needing. A weekend trip, new shoes, dinner out 3 times because we deserve it. The rest disappears into daily expenses you can't even recall. 2 weeks later, you're back to zero. Back to overdraft anxiety. Back to, I'll never get ahead. And here's the moment that reveals everything. You feel relieved. Not consciously. Consciously, you're frustrated. But underneath, there's a subtle comfort. This is familiar. This is home. Your nervous system has been conditioned to the stress of scarcity. That's your baseline. When you had $1,500 in the bank, your amygdala was scanning for the threat. This isn't us. This doesn't match our identity. We need to correct this. So you did. You self-corrected back to broke. Or here's another one. You get promoted. Decent raise. You should finally be getting ahead. Instead, lifestyle inflation matches it dollar for dollar. Nicer apartment? Car payment goes up. Subscriptions you don't use. 6 months later, you're living paycheck to paycheck at a higher income. Same person, different salary, identical financial stress. Because you didn't change who you were being. You just had more money to express the same identity with. Your personality creates your personal reality. And if your personality is wired to scarcity, struggle, and never enough, that's the only reality you can create, no matter how much opportunity shows up. Let's make this clinical. Your brain has something called the default mode network, the DMN. It's a set of brain regions that activate when you're not focused on an external task. When you're on autopilot, driving, showering, zoning out in a meeting. The DMN is where your sense of self lives. It's the narrator that says, I am the kind of person who... And research from Marcus Reichel at Washington University shows that the DMN is incredibly resistant to change. It defaults to established patterns. It's neurologically expensive to update your self-concept, so your brain avoids it. Which means if your identity is, I'm bad with money, your DMN will filter every experience through that lens. You'll notice every financial mistake, ignore every financial win. Interpret success as luck, interpret failure as confirmation. This is called confirmation bias, and it's not a thinking error, it's a survival mechanism. Your brain is trying to maintain a coherent sense of self. Psychologist Leon Festinger called this cognitive dissonance reduction. When reality contradicts your identity, your brain will distort reality before it updates identity. Now layer in the neurochemistry. Dr. Candace Pert's research on neuropeptides showed that emotional states create chemical signatures. When you feel broke, that mix of anxiety, resignation, maybe shame, your hypothalamus releases a specific cocktail of stress hormones. Your cells have receptors for those chemicals. And over time, your cells become desensitized. They need more of the signal to feel normal. You become chemically addicted to the emotional state of financial stress. This is why trying to budget your way out feels impossible. You're not fighting a strategy problem. You're fighting a homeostatic drive. Your body wants to return to the neurochemical state it knows. Broke feels like you. Daniel Kahneman's work on loss aversion adds another layer. Your brain weighs losses twice as heavily as gains. Staying broke is safe. Trying something new, even if it could work, registers as dangerous. Your amygdala sees change as threat. So you stay in the loop, same thoughts, same feelings, same actions, same results. And your brain gets more efficient at running that loop every single day. So how do you actually break this? You don't start with money, you start with identity. Step 1, name your financial state of being. What is the emotional signature you've memorized? For most people, it's some combination of anxiety, resignation, shame, or never enough. Write it down, be specific. I feel anxious every Sunday night. I feel shame when my card declines. I feel resigned when I see my balance. This isn't therapy, this is neuroscience. You cannot change a pattern you have not made conscious. Dr. Jeffrey Schwartz's work on neuroplasticity shows that awareness is the first step in rewiring. You have to see the loop to break the loop. Step 2, interrupt the pattern with precision. You need a circuit breaker. The moment you notice the old thought starting, I can't afford this, I'll never get ahead, you do something physically disruptive. Snap a rubber band on your wrist, stand up, say out loud, that's the old program. Sounds ridiculous, it works. Dr. Judson Brewer's research on habit loops shows that physical interruption creates what he calls disenchantment. It breaks the automaticity. Your brain can't run the old program if you interrupt the sequence. Step 3, rehearse the new identity. This is where most people fail. They try to think positively while feeling broke. Doesn't work, mind and body in opposition. Instead, you sit down every morning for 10 minutes and you mentally rehearse being the person who makes different financial decisions. Not fantasy, rehearsal. You see yourself checking your account without dread. You feel calm. You see yourself putting $50 into savings. You feel the satisfaction. You see yourself walking past an impulse buy. You feel the power of the choice. Dr. Alvaro Pascual Leone at Harvard showed that mental rehearsal creates the same neural changes as physical practice. You are literally wiring a new identity. Step 4, take the smallest new action. You don't overhaul your life, you do one thing your old identity wouldn't do. Transfer $10 to savings, track 1 day of spending. Say no to one impulse. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that small wins reprogram your self-concept faster than big goals. Because your brain gets evidence, I am the kind of person who does this. Step 5, expect the relapse. Your body will try to pull you back. It's chemically comfortable with broke. When you feel the urge to sabotage, that's not failure. That's your nervous system trying to return to homeostasis. Label it. This is my body wanting the old chemical state. Then choose again. Neuroscientist Michael Merzenich's work shows that neuroplasticity requires repetition under conditions of focused attention. You're not trying to be perfect, you're trying to fire the new circuit more than the old one. Do that enough times and the new wiring becomes the default. Most people wait for a crisis to change. A job loss, a medical bill, a card declined in front of people. They wait until the pain is unbearable. You don't have to. You can decide right now that the person you've been is not the person you're becoming. If this script made something click, don't just watch another video. Subscribing to this channel is not passive consumption, it's a declaration. You're telling your brain, I am the kind of person who studies how my mind works. I am the kind of person who does the uncomfortable work of rewiring. Every time you come back here, you're firing a circuit that says, I take my financial psychology seriously. That's identity level change. So subscribe, not because you need more information, because you're becoming someone who uses information to break the patterns that have been running you. You're broke as a habit. Habits can be unlearned.